Hello, hello, it's coffee talk. And it says wild and free. Oof, I'm wild and I'm free. Good reminder that we're all wild and free. There's a little bird. Okay. So this is a big one. This is a big one. This is very, very, very interesting ponder if you choose to accept it. So it's been challenging for me personally. It's been challenging for clients. It's been challenging for the inner circle. And so I'm going to give it to you too, but be sure it is not easy. We are in May, which means sensuality. We're opening up our windows of our portals and we're taking in and feasting on all the senses and sights and smells and tastes and touches around us. And we're putting it out and we're bringing it in. We're showing up in a sensual way this week, this month. And then we're exploring also creativity. We've come to the idea that it is in the sensuality of ourselves where the creative juices lie, right? So when we are in our senses and we are in that present moment, that's when we are our most creative self, that raw, genuine self. So this week in our group, we've been chatting about, does creativity require vulnerability? Right? Does creativity require vulnerability? So I'm going to just hold for a second when you think about that. Does creativity require vulnerability? And you might even pause this video and journal out on that so that you really come into your own understanding before I tell you what we're talking about. So I would really recommend that. But going forward, we decided that yes, it does. It requires some vulnerability on some spectrum, right? There's a spectrum. So maybe a little bit of vulnerability if you got really creative with a haircut, and right, maybe you're going to expose yourself to some judgments or some sort of shame in that way, and that's on one level of a spectrum, all the way to telling someone you like them and you don't know what they're going to say and you're just opening yourself up completely to like all the way through, right? So being creative requires us to be vulnerable on some level, right? Some level. And most of us are not super comfortable being vulnerable, but most of us know that it is in the vulnerability where we really get that, what we most seek, which is connection. The more vulnerable I am with you, the more vulnerable you feel being with me, right? The more genuine I am with you, the more genuine and safe you feel being with me. So that's where we are this week, okay, in our inner circle. I would like to challenge you to be vulnerable this week, to be vulnerable in your creativity, in the way that you show up. We've defined creativity as creating something that's never been before, or transforming something that was into something new. So it's changing, it's bringing something that hasn't been exposed before, creating something new. In that, I asked the group to go on dates. Ask someone on a date, take your spouse on a date. If you really are not open to opening your heart in that way, taking even a girlfriend or boyfriend, someone you're palling with, take them on a date, exploring your sensuality in a risky way, not in an unsafe way, but a way that feels a little bit exposing. Okay. When you think about that, we're being vulnerable. Because one of the things that I have come to understand and through this work and in my own personal life is that it is in the self-reflection, it is in the being with someone else that I feel most vulnerable, right? I'm most exposed when there is someone receiving my information, whether it's me reading something I wrote, whether it's sharing a personal story, whether it's giving my opinion, right? I am self-reflective with the person who's responding or reacting to what I'm saying, and it feels more vulnerable. So this week, you cannot do this alone. You have to have someone, and I'm challenging you to make it even someone that feels a little scary to, someone you like, someone that you haven't been close to in a while that you're wanting to be close to, a spouse, that maybe you're sort of separate in these ways, and you're trying to bring something back, right? So exposing yourself vulnerably, safely, but risky, and allowing yourself to have those creative juices flowing. Okay, so that's the ponder. Number one, do you believe that creativity requires vulnerability. The work that you enjoy, the music that you enjoy, the paintings, the plays, the books, is it the vulnerable characters that keep you coming back, that keep you excited, that really draw you in? And how are you being vulnerable? How are you showing up in creating these moments of your life from a vulnerable place? If you remember the topic a couple weeks ago, we talked about life is difficult and then you die. What George Carlin says, life is difficult, then you die. And then I had suggested, well, life is hard until you weaken. Life is hard until you weaken. So I'm asking you to weaken a little bit, be a little bit vulnerable this week and see how it goes. I hope it goes well, but it may not. It may not. And then you'll be exposed and then you get to feel all that creativity. Okay. It's a hard week. Let me know how it goes. And I will see you in the inner circle if you're in those meetings. Otherwise, as always, may this work be of deep, deep benefit to you. I show up here vulnerably every week. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it benefits both of us for me to do this. And that's why I do it. Where are you doing it in your life? Where are you being vulnerable and creative and sensual in your life? All right. Deep bows. Much love. Namaste.